full disclosure, I watched The Idea of You for Nicholas Galitzine because he was absolutely wonderful in Red, White and Royal Blue. So it looks like he's Amazon's golden boy at the moment. He's making all sorts of really cool films. There's a musical Cinderella with him that I still have to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. I didn't know The Idea of You. It's out as a book, and I can see why they would chose this for this genre. It's the romance genre, but it's the modern romance genre. And I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. Great actors, of course, Anne Hathaway. Can't go wrong. And the daughter, played by Ella Rubin, daughter Izzy, I like her too. Basically, everybody else can come or go, doesn't matter, but all the actors were good. This is effectively a role reversal from such things as the Notting Hill and Roman Holiday. And yet, at the same time, it goes a little deeper than that. So, from that perspective, I think this is a modern movie that is like, okay, yes, she's 40. She turns 40 at the beginning of the film. He's 24. You know, you look at Roman Holiday, yeah. He was 35 and she was like 18, 20 at the most. So it's about the same dynamic, except that, hey, reversal. And this is what we do nowadays. We are looking at things, you know, from a different gender perspective. And you go, okay, what would happen if that? And I could imagine that this was written with that in mind. So what if a woman with a teenage daughter meets the teenage idol? And he's a teenage idol, but he's not a teenager anymore. You know, he's 24. He's just on that cusp of if he's gonna end that career, maybe in the terms of the Monkees and you know all of those groups, boy groups. At some point, there's the Beatles. There's a point where you put a line under it. You say, okay, we have done this part. And now we need to all go to have a single career as an artist, as a song writer, singer, artist, musician. And then often only one, or if you're lucky, two of them of a group like that actually makes it. This is known to be fanfic, or at least based on fanfic type works on Harry Styles. So, again, full disclosure, I am 52. So,
Have you heard of Harry
Styles? I've heard of Harry Styles. But I just mentioned the Monkees and the Beatles, so you can tell that even when I was young, I was not up to the, you know, the current day. I never...
Beatles and the Monkees are really before your time.
I never saw Take That. I never saw... What's the other
Oasis
group
and
Oasis, yes, but not Take That. That's the boy bands that were in the 90s and early 2000s. Forget it. So One Direction, totally forget it. But I looked up Harry Styles and the wonderfulnesses. Hopefully, we can see some interesting dresses on this lovely young man. It's like I can see why he would inspire such a large fan following, and of course, large fan fiction. Yes, genre. So this guy, our hero Hayes. Hayes. Sorry, but whoever wrote this was American, because there is no Brit that has the first name Hayes. It just doesn't happen. And
they're all called Tom, Harry,
Chris, Ian, Stuart, yes, and Robert. These are what the names of the guys in England. But he shows, he did audition when he was 14, and he was the Brit. He was the English kid, and he's 24, so he's been doing this for 10 years. I liked the way he is immediately introduced with how he reacts to the media around him, because they're all the paparazzi follow him everywhere, and he just has this really calm way of ignoring them and also running past them when he can manage to get away. And she's just like, okay, but she goes with it because she is 40, so it's not like she hasn't gotten out of a scrape and all of that. So she's not this completely new on the block teenage girl who has to learn everything. No, this is an established woman who's actually ready for a life change. Her midlife crisis, effectively, if this could be called one, is coming early because she had her kid early. Kid's now 16, and she's 40, and her husband she kicked out her husband for two-timing her. And I applaud the story for that, because it wasn't like, oh, yes, he had all these affairs. No, he had the one affair, and he managed to get away, not telling her for quite a long time. But once she found out, she took action. And even then, she did say that she had to think about it, and maybe she should give him another chance. And then she's like, no, because he cheated on her for a very long time. The midlife crisis, actually her ex-husband's midlife crisis. This guy's midlife crisis saying all over everybody. He has this young woman, and even the young woman is standing there going, it's kind of like, this wasn't quite how I had intended this, and I actually like the ex-wife better than...
Anne Hathaway, of course she does.
Of course. There's the only thing you can say about Anne Hathaway is that she's very skinny, and more power to her that works for her filming career. But I would like to see some. It is perpetuating the image of how skinny a 40-year-old still needs to be, as she's had a baby. And then there's the scene where she's in the swimming pool, where Hayes has got his entourage, the other guys in the band, and they've got their girls there who are of that, the 20, 21-year-olds. And she's standing in the mirror going, boobs up, boobs down, boobs up, boobs down. Like, it's contrived because her boobs are just fine. So there's an American obsession with your boobs have to be around your armpits, which is really not where boobs are. Not even when you're 21. So
not even the perkiest of boobs is.
Yeah, I have a quibble with that, and in movies that they're trying to make this almost perfect fashion model, physically presenting woman who is the famous actress, then pretend that she is not, like Renee Zellweger pretending that she's fat. Come on, are you kidding? That's just film magic, I suppose. Or it's trying to throw film magic at me. No, thanks. She's just fine. She doesn't need to cover up. But the scene was more about her self-esteem and feeling completely out of place with groupies that are following around the other guys in the band. And it's at that moment, it's also very clear to me as the viewer why he doesn't do that, why he's into her. Yes, it may be that he's just happy to pick up.
Language. Words may have meaning. If you put them together in wrong order, you get wrong meaning.
It may be that he picks up women over 30 because he is just completely done with the groupie girl. The groupie girls introduce themselves. Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to university this year. I'm taking a year off. Yeah, what's she doing? She's at the poolside with the other members of the band. So No, I totally dig it that he's not into that. You can also tell that he's more serious than his environment or his situation warrants him to be, because he could just coast. He could just go like, right, I'm a 24-year-old, got 3 girls coming at me that side, 3 girls coming at me that side, a couple of dudes over there if I'm interested, and all I have to do is show up, dance, sing, and I'm done. No, he says he is learning the guitar, even though the whatever idol industry he's in is not paying him to do so. But he's thinking ahead. He's going for a future in this. He loves the singing, and he's gonna go make that transition from teeny bop idol to the next stage, which is you make your own music, you go on solo tours, etc. So that's woven in through the whole movie, and I think especially because it is a type of fan fiction, it's for sure that the writer has read fan fiction and knows enough about the industry to take both their situations seriously. And I think that's what works about fanfiction based novels. Like Red, White and Royal Blue is based on a whole bunch of fanfiction tropes, namely the royal AU for male-male relationship. That you wouldn't just see it generally. There wouldn't just be a book out saying this and this. If we hadn't had 40 years of fanfiction putting these guys, these very, very delectable guys, into all sorts of male romantic situations and saying, well, you can have Roman holiday, but can we do it with 2 guys? And okay, so then both guys happen to be of a notable background. In this case, in the idea of it's a man and a woman, and she's not of notable background, which is a Roman holiday is effectively the same. He is a professional in his field. He is the journalist, Gregory Peck. And here, Anne Hathaway playing Solène is the gallery owner. And she's up and coming because she spent already 15 years raising her kid. And then she got divorced, and now it's sort of a timeshare for the kid. But it's now raced to get her daughter into university or college, and then she can spend all her time on her career. And that's where I think movies like All That Heaven Allows comes in, because there's the exact same dynamic. You've got him, he's young, he's for her young, he's 30, maybe he's 28, but he's probably 30. And he's the gardening, he does the trees and the gardening and the arboretum. And the husband has died, which is the 1950s version of the husband divorced. She divorced the husband. The kids are in university because she was having kids at 18, not at 24. And that was considered normal. Whereas now, 24 is considered a little bit on the early side, so they do make a storyline of, she got pregnant first and then married. I'd say that all points to we have come a far way in 70 years. I would hope so. We got a long way in 70 years. But we haven't.
She still got cheated on. We haven't come that far.
Well, she didn't get cheated on in All That Heaven Allows.
Okay, but
but the new man, the problem with the new man is he's younger. That's the problem. In the case,
a lot younger.
In this case, in Idea of You, he's 16 years younger. And I can imagine that gives a person pause. But then she gets over it, and then they have another hobble, and then they both went, okay, we're doing this for serious, and then you get the problem with the kid being bullied at school and social media exploding, because he's not just younger, he is also a teen idol. And that, I think, is the big problem. So, I think they presented it very well, because it could have been absolutely tropey and uninteresting. But there's a nuance that is woven throughout the story, and one of the things is it's told from her perspective. They even have the same scene in the car that you see in Roman Holiday. Because here, they were supposed to be, now we're doing this for real, and it's out in the media and everybody knows about it. And he comes home from a trip, she picks him up at the airport, and then they sit in the car, and you're thinking, uh-oh, that's the car scene from a Roman Holiday. And it is, because that's where they break up. In Roman Holiday, she says, I am leaving, and I'm walking towards out of that alleyway, and you will not follow me. And here she says, you have to go, because my child is being bullied in school to the point where this is not a sustainable situation. And I found it really sad that it has to be that way. And I was thinking, can I blame it on culture? Can I blame it on anything? But I think this is an unwinnable point, because she does have to prioritize her daughter, but only for a year or so. What they do is they do it 5 years. And that, I think, is absolutely unnecessary.
He has time. And she even has time. They have time.
They have time, but... So, at the end, spoiler, they both wait 5 years until they get back together. And of course they get back together. But my problem with that is that he is then 29, that's fine, but she is 45.
She wasn't going to go for a second child anyway, I don't think so.
It's possible, yeah.
Otherwise she would have been there earlier than 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, if she had known that was it, she was done having babies. And then he has to kind of... implicitly, he's agreeing to the whole thing, because he knows she's 40. In 5 years, she'll be 45. And he says, that he will wait. And they also agree on... They shouldn't actually wait. If somebody comes in their lives to make them happy, they should take it. They tell each other to do so. But you can kind of sense that he's not interested in anybody else. He's found her, and given that he's been a teeny bop idol for the last 10 years of his life, pretty much most of his life, and his entire adult life, then he probably is like, no, who? Who but somebody like her? Whether she's 30 or 40 doesn't really matter, but certainly not a fan. And I'm not saying that there are no actors or musicians that haven't had a good relationship with a fan. That can happen, but in his case, that's not what he's looking for, because he had them. He had them at his feet for 10 years, and of course all the years following. By the time that he comes back, he has established his solo career, and I much prefer that, actually. One of the things I really enjoyed about the movie is the showing us of the fan culture, because you do get to see the VIP meetings and stuff, but what's on the tin, what they say they're going to do and what they're actually doing as film shorthand. By the second time I was watching, it's like, oh, they're actually not doing a VIP session, even though he comes in, stuff happens, and he goes out again. But that wasn't actually a VIP session, because he would have sat and talked to them. So, no, it's in name, yes. It's kind of like it gives a little flavor of how these things are done. Absolutely wonderful was, of course, the woman who talks to Solène, saying, who's your favorite? And she's like, no, I'm here because my kid likes that. yeah, sure. Who's your favorite? Because that woman was also 40. And that's the thing, is that fan culture is very women heavy. I'm sure that in the idol industry it's even more so, but certainly in Comic Cons and all of that, it's women heavy. We love to meet the actors. We love to take a picture with the actors. We would love to talk to the actors and musicians. I'm not in. I'm not in music culture.
If it's not Paul Simon, you don't know.
Yeah, would I have liked to have met Paul Simon, when I was going to his concerts? Yes. So, fair. But the fact that they're showing fan culture now, and they're doing this in multiple movies, of course it started with Galaxy Quest, and that was a fair representation of what you could show as fan culture because one of the things they were trying to do is to not show it up as, all the young...
The screaming girls.
The screaming girls, but yeah, for the music you have the screaming Beatlemania, and then for the guys you have the nerdy basement hugging 35-year-olds still living at their parents' house. They didn't do that, and I like that. So I think that was a good start, and that was 90-something, 98, 99. So we've since had some good films, I wish I could remember them right now, showing fan culture, and this is a good one. It shows it, and because it shows it also from his perspective, and I like that. But we stay with her, and I also like that. I assume the book would have been written from her perspective. The art, again, it was, yes, there's film shorthand, but they are taking it seriously. When her art. Well, she is the art gallery owner, so she doesn't make art, but she has her tastes, and he asks her about it, and then her responses are proper responses. Of course, she would be catering them to somebody like him who clearly doesn't know anything about art. So, she would already be sanitizing what she's saying, because she would, if it was another art critic or another gallery owner, she would be using different words. And I thought it was totally appropriate. I never got quite the point of the watch. I think there may have been more in the book, that it would be explained why it's so significant. Yes, it's going back and forth and back and forth. It represents their relationship, but it more represents his intention, I think. Oh, one of the things that would not happen is that where they actually meet, which is sort of a crux of the matter, isn't it? If she'd never met him, then the whole thing wouldn't have happened. But she meets him by walking into his trailer thinking it was the VIP ladies' toilet.
As you do.
No.
No.
So I don't buy that. It didn't look like it. It looked very nondescript, as it should, because you wouldn't want his name on that trailer.
Yeah, but it would have been a burly guy standing outside shooing everybody away.
Yeah, there are always bodyguards wherever he is, so no. she wouldn't have just walked into his trailer thinking that, knock knock, I will use the toilet. But it was fun. And that in that sense it's a bit fan fiction anyway, because yes, that's... I think even fan fiction would make it a little bit more logical and more realistic, that she could walk into that particular place that he's in. Maybe he's just been taken to the... But even so, at any rate, there would be bodyguards there, because it's a festival. It's a music festival. And he is one of the headliners. So there is no way he would be anywhere without 3-4 bodyguards. So. The writer, Robinne Lee, was involved as an actress in 50 Shades of Grey and the 2 following movies. So, yay! More fanfic out there. Love it. Bring more. And also, it would be good if other people who aren't involved with 50 Shades of Grey could also get a chance to put stuff out that was originally fanfic inspired or fanfic based. And I think things like Red, White and Royal Blue were, in a way, if not inspired by fanfic directly, certainly inspired by tropes that have been thrown into the world by fanfic, as this. And one of the things we do need to see more of is mature women with the man of their choice. Because this
and Hathaway, we're very happy about it.
Yes! Yes. Then she has the perfect breasts either way. No, she's wonderful. She really carries this movie. Like Hugh Grant carried 4 Weddings and a Funeral, she carries this movie, and she has to, because this is her story. And for that, they put just enough meat into her character and the nuances from the various things that happen to put the plot forward, to stay away from being a very tropey Hallmark style film. This is a proper film. So it gets my thumbs up, and I want more. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.